I am going to talk about what it's like to be a human being. So this is a woman, and this is her body, and the gray area here, this bubble, that is her mind, her thinking mind. And this part is her consciousness. And we're going to look at what is consciousness and what is mind. And how does it relate to the body. So when we think, most people think, okay, in fact we think all the time. That's what we do when we are awake. We live in a world of thoughts. So it's common that we are, totally identified with our thoughts. Our thoughts, that's our reality. My thoughts are my reality, and in a sense my thoughts become my reality. So it's like this. We are surrounded with this bubble, that's our thought bubble. And inside that bubble we can think a lot of different things. We can think about the past, about the future, we can imagine things. And we can think about both good and bad things, both positive things and negative things. So our thoughts are a bit tricky in that way. They won't protect us from thinking, from worrying and thinking that bad things may happen. So often our thoughts are a source of unhappiness. And this is why it's important to understand what thoughts are. What is the mind really? Okay, so this is an example of when you are totally consumed by your thoughts. Here, this woman here, she is still in contact with the world around her. She has her feet on the ground. She has some awareness of her physical reality. And this awareness of the physical reality, that is the key to becoming consciousness. To becoming conscious and go into consciousness. So becoming aware of the physical reality and becoming aware of your thoughts, that is the first step. So when you think something, you say to yourself, for example, I'm so unhappy, I feel depressed. This is not going to end well. And when you say that to yourself, or maybe other people say that to you, of course that affects you. You get programmed by those thoughts, by those words. So saying something positive, like it's going to be good and I feel happy and so on. That's a little bit better. But it's not the full picture. It's not the entire solution, so to speak. The solution, if you can call it that's connecting to the physical reality and decentering from the thoughts, decentering from the thought bubble. So this woman over here, she is still surrounded by the thought bubble, but she is not completely absorbed by it. Like these women, they are absorbed by their thought bubbles. but this one is all green, and she has awareness of her thoughts. She is conscious of her thoughts. So when she says, when she catches herself saying, "Oh, I'm so depressed, it's going to go, everything is going to be a disaster," then she can say to herself, "Oh, I'm aware of thinking about stuff, but that's thoughts. It's just a thought. I'm thinking that I'm depressed. I'm thinking that it's going to turn out badly, everything. But I have the opportunity now to decenter from those worrisome thoughts." And that is what this woman has done. So she is observing her thought bubble here from she is not even inside it anymore. She has detached and decentered from the thought bubble. And now she can start, she can do different things now that will be beneficial for her. So it's like, so the process is that you realize that you are in your thought bubble, and then to get out of the bubble and to make to send the bubble into the background. The way to do that is to connect to your physical reality. So this woman has now moved her focus is centered on where she is right now, on the physical world, on her experience of being here and now, what she can feel with her senses. So she stands on the ground here, and she can experience what's in the air that surrounds her. Maybe there are birds, maybe there are trees around her, and then there is the air itself, so she can feel the air touching her skin, and she can experience the air flowing into her body and flowing out of her body. She can experience her breath, and by focusing on this, she can detach from her thoughts. She can make it so that she is no longer completely identified with her thoughts. And if we look at these three components, the body, the mind, and the consciousness, what we do when we detach from the mind is that we connect directly to the body. We go directly with our awareness into our experience of the physical present reality. And the thing is, we cannot exist any place else except in the present moment. We exist here and now. And people call this present moment the ever-present now. The ever-present now is always here. And our bodies cannot be anyplace else. But our minds, they can drift off. They can go far into the future. They can go into the past. In the mind, we can imagine things, all sorts of things. And this is a very powerful capability we have. I mean, that enables us. It enables us to invent things and to be creative. But, thoughts, the mind doesn't make any difference between negative and positive thoughts. But when we are in consciousness, we can observe the thoughts and use the thoughts as a tool. And we can say to ourselves, now I'm going to be creative. I'm going to invent stuff. Paint the painting, build a machine, whatever. And you can also say, with your consciousness. you use your awareness. You can say that an awareness is like the tool of the consciousness. You can say, now I'm going to go into my body. Now when I'm in the forest, I'm walking here. I'm going to focus on what is here and now. I'm not going to talk on my mobile phone. I'm not going to bother with thinking about the future too much. So when I'm here, I can catch myself starting to think stuff that in the end it becomes a negative spiral, thinking, worrying and thinking about negative outcomes. So and of course you also have to be realistic, and it's good to plan for the future. You don't want to be completely mindless, but you don't have to be in that state of mind all the time. You can take a break from it, and that will refresh your mind. It will enable you to think more clearly, and it will make you feeling more calm, and in the end you will feel more happy about yourself and your life. So if we compare this situation now, these three parts here, with a computer, we have this situation. I'm not saying that human is a computer, but this is a nice analogy. It comes. I've seen this. I picked up this from an author, Michael Cremo. So Michael Cremo has written a book called Forbidden Archaeology. That's the name of the book, and he researches our ancient past and look at archaeological findings in so that's his thing. So he says, and I think this has been he's very much into Vedic philosophy, the old ancient India practices in ancient India, meditation and yoga and so on. So he has this analogy that the body is the hardware, the mind is a program, that's the software, and then the user, that's the consciousness when you're using a computer or a mobile phone. I mean, and if you're playing a game, for example, you can get completely absorbed by the game. I mean, that's the point of the game, to have a time where you can immerse into the game. So you are completely identified with the software. And that's the situation that we are in most of the time with our thinking mind. We are more or less completely identified with our beliefs, our likes and dislikes, our thoughts about what is good and bad, what is right and wrong, and so on. So we judge things. That's the thinking, analytical mind. And we become emotional. Okay. But then at some point the user, the player of this game, suddenly becomes aware of being the user of the computer, and says to herself, I am the user of this program. Okay, I am not the program. I am not this game character I was playing. And the interesting thing here is that you can have the same hardware, the same user, and replace the program and get a completely different experience. And as a computer user, it's an easy thing to replace the program. You just quit the current program and you load another program. So that is That is like a no-brainer. Okay, but with our minds, it's very difficult to switch program. We are so our software, our thinking mind is so hardwired in a sense, and we have not learned how to do this. With a computer, we know how to do it. There is a quit button, and there is a menu of software we can launch. But we have not. We are not used. We must be in the position of the user, in the position of consciousness. We have to be conscious and aware, and we have to know how to observe the mind, observe the thoughts. To do that, okay, we cannot be the thoughts, like we cannot be the program. If we are in a game and we're totally absorbed by the game, we don't know how to quit, basically, because that's not part of the game world. We have to step into the perspective of the user to be able to quit the program. And to do that, the way to do that is to meditate and practice mindfulness. And to meditate is to focus. So to focus on our senses, on our experience here and now, what we touch, what we can feel, my feet in contact with the ground, the stability of the ground, the skin in contact with the air, the breath, the belly moving as I breathe. Those kind of things. That's a very good way to step out of the thinking mind. And when you have dissented from your thinking mind, you can start to reprogram it. Okay, so you may ask now, why is this useful? Well, it's useful because you can worry less, you can become less stressed. And you can experience calm and become happier. Okay, but it is also very important for society to be able to do this. Here we have a woman and a man, and they are angry. They are completely into their angry minds. So they are in an emotional state where they cannot detach from that emotion. And their analysis, and I view an emotional thinking is like, it's just an aspect of analytical thinking. Because you are thinking in terms of right and wrong, like and dislike, good and bad and so on. And that's why you get angry. Because someone is doing something or saying something that you don't like. Something that you believe is dangerous or wrong. Okay, so when these two persons here are in this state of mind, that they cannot communicate. They have they cannot see themselves. They can only see their aggressive emotion, their dislike. So what they need to do is to use this technique I have described to step into the consciousness. First of all, they need to become aware of the current situation. I'm standing here and I'm very angry. And that person over there is also very angry. And we have to, okay, so now we are aware that we are angry. Now we can decenter from this. We can take a break from being angry. We can agree to take a break from that. You don't have to change your opinion. You can just take a break from your opinion. And then we start listening to each other. So this woman here is going to listen to this man for 10 minutes or something like that, without judging him, without interrupting him. She's going to take a neutral perspective, because the perspective of consciousness is neutral. It's the consciousness don't judge. And this is difficult. She's going to all the time thoughts are going to pop up. This man is crazy. Oh, I hate this man, and so on. I don't like him. Whatever. But she can then say to himself, oh, now I'm thinking that this man is crazy and I don't like him. But it's just a thought. I don't have to identify with that thought. I don't have to do that. I can do that later if I want. But I don't have to do that right now. That thought is not important right now. It's important that I continue to listen to him with an open mind that doesn't judge instantly. And then they switch. So now this man is going to listen to her and doing the same thing. And when they have listened to each other, maybe that already has made them more aware of each other's situation, and they have a better understanding now of each other. And maybe that will resolve the entire conflict, and they are not angry anymore. And if they are still in some kind of conflicting situation, they can just say that, okay, we tried this, but we can try it again maybe. Maybe we can try it tomorrow or in a week or something. So we have to understand that we are so programmed by everything we experience. From the day we are born, we are programmed by parents, by teachers, by friends, at work, by colleagues, and by everything we see on television and read in media, and by social media and politicians and media professionals, journalists, everyone programs. They program us, everyone. And I'm programming you right now, okay? So, and you can program yourself. That's better, okay? Because then you can. Then you are not a victim of your thoughts, and you are not a victim of what other people think. You can choose. Okay, so you can step out of your programming. That's when you and stepping out of your programming. That's sort of to reboot the computer, restart your phone or your computer, and you do that by meditating on your existence in the present. You meditate on your physical existence and your connection to your surroundings. Okay, so hopefully the ideal situation would be something like this. This man and this woman, they have experienced viewing the world, their lives from their consciousnesses. They can step into consciousness and take that perspective, and they can observe their thoughts, and they can observe what the other people say, the other persons say, and they are much more aware and conscious of what is going on, and they can connect to the physical world. They are aware of their presence, their bodies being present in the so-called ever-present now. Because that is what your life is. Your life is in the ever-present now. It cannot be any place else. And if you live your life in your thoughts, if you live your life in your thought bubble, then you can, it's essentially like you create your own horror movie if you worry all the time. And if you deny all the problems and say, everything is good, I'm so happy with this, then that's also living in a fantasy. You are still in your mind. So direct your awareness to the present, to your body and the air and your breath. And when you do that, then people can start cooperating with each other. and understanding each other in a much better way, and not be totally dependent on external influences like media and so on. You can make up your own mind, so to speak, and become more grounded in what you believe and what you experience. Yes, that is the way forward. In my view, in my experience, cooperation, awareness, stepping into consciousness, into that neutral mind that doesn't judge all the time. Just experience how wonderful it is to be a woman or a man or a living being here and now. That's the way forward.